two. Want to welcome you all to Brisbane, Australia, wherever you're watching around the world. This is the Brisbane Australian Poker Tour Super Series. You've just seen in that little opener, hopefully you're on when the stream started, highlights of what is a momentous day in Australian poker as we bring back the state of origin here at the Australian Poker Tour. Harvey Silver here at the microphone with the man who, with his brother, has brought this concept back after, I think, about 15 years in the wilderness. Tony Hashem, welcome to commentary and welcome to Brisbane.
Thanks, Harves. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been since 2013, so I'd say 11 years.
11 years, there you go.
11 years. Yeah, no, super excited about this event. Everything's about timing, Harves, and we thought that, now is the time, and the reception that we've had from some of the biggest names in Australian poker community and also an international presence has been awesome.
So we're going to spend the next 10, 15 or so minutes giving everyone some clarity on this event. Very, very different to the normal poker that happens at an Australian Poker Tour. For a start, it's a teams event, which is sensational. We have 6 players that are representing their teams. We got going about 12:30 Australian time today with our first table, and there'll be 3 rounds. This one round has been completed. We're going to update you on the scoring. It's a point scoring system. We're going to update you on who's playing. But what we're seeing right now on your screens is the very first hand of round 2 in this State of Origin series. The players that are gathered on this table, the 8 players, are the vice captains of their teams. Don't be fooled by the vice captain tag, because as you see the names coming up, if you know anything about Australian poker, you're going to see that these are possibly 8 of the best Australian poker players going around at the moment. We also have a icon in each group, and we have a captain in each group, and then the other 3 players make up the 6.
And any of these players would easily have been nominated as captains, but that just shows you the class or the professionalism of how good Australian tournament poker players are in this country. Some of the best players in the world are sitting on this table.
And some of the very big money winners as well. We're going to go around, we're going to talk about the 8 players on this feature table. We're going to also talk about who's on the outer tables, 5 outer tables playing at the same time. The 5 outer tables have been randomly selected.
Correct.
These guys knew that they would be playing against each other as the 8 vice captains. And as a real treat, as we see Jungle Man pick up aces here, and everyone would know Jungle Man, who's representing our international team. And he doesn't get anyone biting on his aces, unfortunately. We'll run through. It's going to take a little bit of time, Tony, running through all the names and a little bit of their background, and trying to keep an eye on the hands as they happen. And we've also got a points table. We'll talk about how the points get distributed. But this is genuinely a teams competition. You're trying to accumulate as many points as you can for your team. And the top team at the end of this evening, which it will finish this evening. It'll finish late, but it will finish this evening. The top team is going to take away the top prize. There's a second place as well, and
Correct.
the individual player that earns the most points also gets the Australian State of Origin Championship Individual Award. And there are beautiful Dukakis rings for all of those players to take away to finish up as winners.
Well, yeah, not all the players, but the top team, the top six players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The top team will all 6 of them will take away a ring. So,
and there's also a ring that for the player that finishes with the most points.
yeah. So 7 rings in total, or if the player with the most points is in, he'll get 2 rings, I suppose.
Could get 2 rings,
He'll get 2 rings, he'll be able to put them on each hand. So it is going to take a little bit of time to sort of update you with what's happening and also how this is being played, but we also want to keep an eye on the play with both players here, Malcolm Trainer and Travis Endersby, picking up aces. Malcolm gets a flush draw to go with that now. And we did see, Tony, that the first stage of this, first of the 3 stages, was pretty aggressive out there. No one's hanging around.
No, it went for a while because, you know, you got a lot of egos, you know, mates versus mates, you know.
Yep.
You know, besides the state versus states, you've got players that, you know, play a lot together, you know, both online and live. Yeah, which is really good. Good for TV.
And this is good for TV as Malcolm picks up the check mark here with the flush. He checks it. He's going to let Travis potentially stick some more money in the pot. And it looks like he's going to, Tony. No, he hits the check and saves himself a fair bit of dough, I'd suggest. So Malcolm Trainer picking up a nice little pot there on our 3rd hand. Malcolm, anyone who follows poker will know this guy. He's a WSOP Mystery Millions bracelet winner. And you've got to be a pretty decent player to be...
That's a weird line.
Yeah. You can't blend in.
Huh?
That's right, you won't have much trouble with that. The jungle doesn't blend in.
The Australians do better with the American girls.
I think so.
And the Americans do better with the Australian girls.
Potentially, yes.
So that's how you get them all. You gotta have both.
So you collect them all like Pokemon, huh?
You gotta have something.
We can't play that.
So, of course, Malcolm taking that big pot. Now, we've got Travis still on the table there on our graphics. I understand, Tony, he is a late replacement. Was he ill or something? But it was a very late replacement today.
Yeah.
So we haven't updated the graphics. We do apologise for that, and we will get onto that and do it. We're obviously running on a delay, so we can't do it straight away. But let's get back to Malcolm, who took that nice little pot. WSOP Mystery Millions bracelet winner. He's a UK IPT London champion. Fantastic player, and pretty sure he did pretty well on the first flight out there as well, so he may have some points.
16.4. 6-fold.
I'm just looking to see who replaced him, Harps.
Yep.
Give me one sec.
We'll update everyone on that.
Western Australia.
16.4. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I think we might be okay there. Just let's see this one develop as well, because Corey's picked up 10s and takes that down.
That's big. If you have 7 on Tiny bit.
Nice suited wheel ace there. He did. Yeah, he's sending an inmate every time.
You should have done the gold 5-bet send. The hero.
5 fold. 6 fold.
He would have worked.
7 fold.
So are all the teams from the different states of Australia?
Yes.
So let's rewind all of that and confirm that all the players we have on this table are the correct names, Tony. That's we did have a late change, but it wasn't on this table. So who's out?
It was Alex Trevelli.
Alex Trevelli is out.
Yes, and he's been replaced by. I'll tell you in a minute.
China's got no bases up in this tournament.
Anyway, everyone on this table is the right people and the right names.
China's taken us all over.
You know, I used to be called a banana. And,
Yeah, he's still a banana. More importantly, Tony, we want to talk about this concept because this is going to go for quite a while, and this table will develop on the basis of what we saw this afternoon. I think we had about 3.5 hours of play in the first round, and our feature table in that was the icons of each team.
Yep.
And that was an opportunity for each team captain to choose someone on the basis of their accomplishments outside of poker or
Correct.
within poker as an icon of the game. And we finished up with two very well-known faces going heads up in that icon. The great Andrew Bogut, the NBA champion basketballer.
And Queensland's very own Adrian Sportelli.
Sportelli, who made the sport his own, and he actually took that table out. He was the winner. So he picked up 15 points for his team for winning that table.
Good effort by Bogut as well.
Yeah, unbelievable by Bogut. He was sitting on a short stack for a long time and then doubled up a few times and got himself into heads up. I think we've got a little bit of vision of that we'll show later on of that heads up competition. So that was our feature table of the icons that played, and then there were 5 other tables happening outside or on the floor, I should say, and each winner took 15 points from that, and then it's a sliding scale down to 8th, and we're into round 2 now. So if you picked up 15 points for Queensland, as Adrian did, if he's got another Queenslander that also won on one of the other 5 tables, that's another 15 points at 30. So we'll have an updated points table for you reasonably soon.
And you've also got to add in the 0.5 points that gets added to the overall system, which they're working out now. So that gives us an opportunity for the teams to actually eventually have a winner, and not look. It'd be very unlikely that there'd be draws.
Yes.
Hence why we've incorporated that. Just on the State of Origin, I just want to thank a few people that made this possible.
Yep.
Other than my brother Joe Didier, the captain of the New South Wales team. He a very accomplished player, very well loved in the community, and is also part of Team APT Pro, and his passion, his love for the game, the sports side of poker, the competition. If you recall halves, you mentioned it earlier that we started this 11 years ago, so we hadn't done an event since 11 years. This was established in 2008, but the concept was, we worked on it from about end of 2006 after Joe won the World Poker Tour to his title, and Fred Ciappini out of Adelaide also were in at the World Series at the time, and we said, well, what a great idea, Fred from Matchroom Poker, who's just been a massive supporter of this.
The king on the end is not a great card for Jungle Man. It was miles in front, but now Travis's ace kicker is going to help him out here. Just a little $5,000 bet from Jungle Man, which will get called. And he's not going to be happy, but he was never winning that.
No.
I just... well, anyway, he bet the five hoping, didn't he?
He had to bet.
He had to bet. He couldn't check there.
No.
Yeah. Tony, just on the basis of what we've seen the last 3 hours, and even though we weren't actually streaming, we got a real great opportunity to watch what was going on. I can already tell you the feel of this, the whole idea of bringing a team concept to poker, which you do not see.
No.
The chat, the niggling,
Banter.
I mean, it's at a completely different level.
And when you got players that are playing at this level, I mean, you've got players just on this table alone over $20 million in tournament winnings, if not more. Malcolm winning a WSOP
It's
bracelet.
just, that is
this year.
unbelievable. That is so huge.
The kid's a champion.
Yeah.
Cale Burns, the highest money earner in Australia.
Well, we're getting a little bit on the chat, and please chat with us if you're on Facebook or YouTube and Twitch. We're going out on all streams, but we get a little bit of chat here. Poker gods like to have fun with you, Travis, having Malcolm and Jungle Man and Kale on the same table. There's nothing about the poker gods. This was set up this way to have this sort of talent, all sitting together. Thanks, Alexandra. Get on the chat and tell us what you think. But you're right, Tony. The mix of players, particularly here, this vice captain's table, the mix of that sort of young gun and experienced, but the amount of tournament prize money just sitting here, quite incredible, isn't it?
It is, mate. It is, and to have, the TLPT guys to come with a lot of their high stakes players.
Well, that's going to be big for the rest of the week, isn't it?
It sure is, and it attracts the bigger names. But one thing APT don't want to really encourage is that we're here for all mixed players. Players at low level buy-ins. We cater for the grassroots. We cater for the mid range.
Yep.
And middle to high.
Yep.
So, and all our events, as everybody knows, it's a dealer dealt. They're all dealer dealt events. So we want to treat the smaller players to give them when I say smaller players, the smaller buy-ins.
Smaller buy-ins, yes.
We want to treat them the same way we treat the players that, buy in at the high level.
Absolutely. Talking about buy-ins, so this was a 21k buy-in event for the team. So you got 6 players on the team.
Yep.
21, and the amount of support that you've had.
Amazing.
Of players wanting to be part of this.
Amazing.
And disappointed players walking around today on the floor who weren't asked to be on the team.
I'll tell you this now. It wasn't just on players on the floor. The amount of emails, text messages, people can never keep poker players all happy, but moving.
Well, there's only 6 players per team.
We did this. We did this as a marketing tool to see if there was still the love for teams event, state of origin. So we wanted to not so much handpick, but we did handpick the captains, and we allowed the captains to pick the players on merit. So moving forward, we are looking at, given that, God willing, it's a real success. I mean, during the WPT at Star Gold Coast, the biggest talk was the state of origin, and it was amazing.
And I'm sure that our viewers, and we're obviously going to pick up viewers as we go along tonight.
Absolutely.
It's still pretty early. I mean, what we do have coming up here, this is an amazing table. Let's be honest.
Yep.
You know what they say about button cold call?
After this, we're going to have
You know what they say about button cold call?
taking part
No, you know what they say.
on this feature table, and our captains, led by your brother, Joe Hasham,
Yep.
representing Victoria. Our captain's table is also going to be something incredible.
I know he's old school.
And I actually think the name's wrong, but you've got to go with something.
You have to.
Calling it State of Origin, but probably people are watching this and going, well, hang on a sec, I can see an NZ hat there. Yes, there is a New Zealand team, and I can see it there, an INT hat. Of course, that's an international conglomerate team.
They are of an origin, no?
Yes, it's a mistake.
Yeah, it's a mistake. Well, look, we
will get there.
We tried to. We in all fairness, we tried to get Tasmanian team in, which we will do that moving forward. We'll push for that.
Sorry, I fixed my mic. Sorry about that. Thanks. See, this is why we love the chat. Come in and tell us what you're hearing. I'm just going to go back and say that again, Tony, in case people didn't pick that up, that we're calling this State of Origin, but of course you can see that there's a New Zealand hat there, NZ. There's an INT, which is obviously an international team, and we have a China team as well.
No, China International.
China International team. So,
and if people are wondering why Jungle Man's in the
someone just asked that question.
Yes, he's part of the TLPT. He plays a lot in China.
Yes,
and is also a major sponsor. Is a sponsored ambassador for AA Poker, which is a free-to-play site. And
he is. Whatever you do to get him in on this, you would do it.
Well, I mean,
because he's a great character, great player,
and he loves coming to Australia, and it's a great experience for our local Australian champs and players to see. Dan Katz is his name, Jungle Man, but Luke Pearson's just said the mic is really quiet.
No, I've fixed all that.
Oh, you fixed it?
See,
Okay.
I don't let Tony read any of the comments because he's miles behind. And the other thing, I mean, we've got to put a little disclaimer on Tony. We don't want to cover ourselves too much, but this is the first time we've actually streamed right off the get-go of Australian Poker Tour. We had to get here a day earlier because of you putting this thing on and insisting that this be streamed. So we normally set everything up and have a lot more time to test things, and we stream about day 3 into an APT. But here we are, and if there's anything that you're hearing or seeing, you want to give us some feedback. We actually love it, and I'm going to get Tony out of here pretty soon because he's driving me nuts. But
hang on, before you throw me out, you banana, Luke Pearson, I miss you at this series. I'm letting you know you're back the next series. But miss you, mate, and just a big shout out to Luke, who's got his NPL series on.
Yep.
And he couldn't make it with us.
Can't give any information, you're in the hand.
So, mate, super excited. We've got some exciting announcements to be made next week.
Look, there's some really great stuff. Don't you preempt anything because I'm not going to let you get us in trouble. But there is, especially around the broadcast, there's some really, really exciting news coming up with Australian Poker Tour. This sort of stuff that you're watching here, and I think people are going to be fascinated watching this, not just because of the players and the quality of the players, but there's a whole new dynamic with playing like this, because for a start, you're right, there's an ego element, there's an enormous ego element 100%. Putting these players together. But just all of a sudden to wear a hat or a shirt in your state colour and knowing that
with your names on the back,
with your name on the back, with this is our version of 2020 cricket.
100%.
This is a really great dynamic, which we're going to see play out. We saw it in the first level. We saw some unbelievable. So your brother, honestly, tripled up. It was gone. It was gone. Hit the ace on the river, but the reaction of the rest of the Victorian team was what you wanted to see. Not, Joe just sits there like, I was expecting that, but the eruption from everyone else on his team, and that dynamic is fantastic. So I'm really excited that we can bring a poker concept like this, to a stream, and knowing that we've got another 8-9 days of incredible poker after this.
Unbelievable.
Which gets back a little bit more to our core.
Well, we're also introducing the women's event. And the women's event, I've been wanting to do it, and having our two newly ambassadors being Shelley and Jade, You know, they're so excited. about
Aren't they?
this,
Jade's
so
Jade's sitting out there playing already.
Yeah,
She was sitting out
so
there.
Shelley.
I think they were both there before the doors opened. They were so excited to get here. So, no, look, it's really exciting. We've got to say it, Tony. If you're in the Brisbane area, if you're on the coast, if you're on the Sunshine Coast, you're sitting watching this, get down here. It's going to be an unbelievable week of poker.
For sure is.
And we're going right through to next Sunday with the main event. In between, we've got some real highlight stuff. We've got the Warren Bounty, Jackson Warren coming for that
Brendan
midweek.
Favola, Campbell Brown, Willie Mason, Stevie Baker, all ex-AFL
Yeah.
boys, Andrew Bogart. They'll
All
all
coming
be
to
there.
take part in that. We've got your brothers tournament, the Joe Hasham Joe Hasham annual
event.
which will be a ripper. Everyone trying to beat Joe. We all love that. And then of course you've got the big 25k, which is going to be an absolute highlight. 25k buy-in event.
It sure is, but you know, just before we get to the 25k event, we've got the 7.5k event with the TLPT. There's a $500,000 guarantee
Wow.
on that.
Wow.
That will be huge. We've also got the 5k event, which is a 6 max event, and there's 250,000 guarantee on that. So we're really excited. We've also got our APT main event. And that's going to be huge. Now, just on the main event, it's $750. There's, I think, $200,000 guarantee on that.
3 flights.
No, more than that. I
More?
think there's 5 flights.
5 flights.
5 flights.
So you virtually can come in any day next week and play a flight to get into the main.
And if you get knocked out, you can re-enter.
Of course.
Of course, all of that. There's also the mini main. There's the big event that a lot of people are talking about is the free roll. Tomorrow, this place will be absolutely packed.
After the grand final, it will, yeah.
Probably after or before, it depends. We are in Brisbane.
Tony, yeah, and they're playing in the grand final, Tony. So
yes.
Hash is trying very, very hard to get me on the stream early. He won't be seeing me before 6.
We do have a live. We're showing the grand final live.
Oh, if you're in the area, absolutely get down. It's going to be a massive, massive day. Tony, I'm going to have to boot you out.
But before I go,
quickly,
anybody that wants to buy into any of the events,
there you are. That's when you were chatting with the guys a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Quickly, give us a...
I was just telling them all.
Yeah.
Don't all go on all in at once. No, I'm joking.
All right. I'm going to get Tony back in there. He is chatting with the boys outside. This is obviously we're running on a half-hour delay, as you know. So it was a little while ago. Hash, you were out there giving the guys a bit of a rev up.
Yeah, well, I was just telling them that we've got a get together at 7 p.m.
Perfect.
And and we're just putting on something little for the boys. So yeah, just to show our appreciation. I mean, they did fly all over the world and Australia to
Yeah,
be.
that's all garbage. Tony just wanted to get his head on camera, so he ran out there. But he said, I'm going to be on the mic. I might as well let people know what I look like. I think they all know what you look like. So again, we're going to just clarify that for everyone. Tony, we're commentating this as we see it in a half-hour delay. And it's pretty packed and noisy out there too, isn't it? It's the atmosphere's fantastic.
Well, let's get back to the poker players. Jason Craig has mentioned. We've got to do the whole lot here, Tony. We've got to explain as much the concept behind this as well, because I'm sure there's, a lot of interested poker players who want an update firstly on how each of the states and international teams are going after the first phase. We're going to have 3 phases of this. So we see Travis pick up Ace King suited and takes 5.5k pot there. Travis just came off winning a WPT event. at Gold Coast at the start.
Yep.
Just a week ago, I think, a week or two ago.
What an amazing couple of, or 3 weeks this has been for poker up in Queensland, coming straight off the back of Gold Coast WPT into this.
No, it's been pretty good. I mean, we've got some incredible players on this table.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've had English a lot of times.
Have we? What? Absolutely stacked table.
Yeah. No, there's so much different.
They have a vowel that just exists for lots of different words. They say.
6 race, 2,500.
Yeah, I guess.
Mate, this is just an insane table draw. The vice captains
But then Australians
playing
do that.
against each other.
Canadians and Americans are quite different.
I know. Having lived there, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
Plenty of people like
even
that.
having not lived there.
So maybe we'll talk about some of the guys on here who you know very well. We've spoken about Jungle Man, who
obviously you can tell someone
is
from the south versus like New York.
curiously but understandably part of the China international side.
Melbourne
One of
has, like,
the
more of a
one of the
thicker,
great
like, Aussie accent than, like, Brisbane
world
State.
players that we've seen playing on so
Yeah.
many different tours, so many televised tours.
North Queensland.
Doesn't stop talking.
No, he loves the chat.
He's in here with
Ace
Ace 8.
off. He's up against Vincent Hung
Free check.
Nothing there for either of them.
from New Zealand.
6 bets, 2,500.
Jungle's winning lots of hands. Yeah, that's like, yeah. Yeah.
That's like your, to us it's like the south.
Yeah, it's like the south, yeah. It's very similar, Where there's like country
Vincent
tour.
would be well known, even though he's playing for the
Sure, but you can,
New Zealand team. He'd be very well known here in Australia.
yeah.
He's Aussie Millions ring winner.
Correct.
6 race to 2,500.
Vincent's at it again with Ace 10 of diamonds.
You don't want to say it, but it's true.
Andrew folds. Malcolm folds. Jungle Man might call. No, folds. Down to Travis.
Normal races.
We're going to see some action here.
Just like within the bands of
Travis being
the
in the
media
big line.
distribution of racism, that's what you got. At least he's honest, I respect that.
It's like, it's like a little bit of stereotyping, right? It's just a little bit of friendly stereotyping. That's sort of, that's like the lowest tiers of racism, it's just a little bit of stereotyping.
10.
Travis, the WPT final tableist. Very, very capable player.
That's a good fold by Vincent. And see, halves the respect that the players have for each other. They probably studied each other or they know of each other's
Of course.
gameplay.
Ones are up. Now we're cooking.
If you've joined a little late, we'll give you a bit of a
People already bumped.
update on what we're doing here.
Jungler's halfway out the
It
door.
is the State of Origin. We've brought it back 11 years in the wilderness, and it's back here at the Australian Poker Tour. We have 6 players on each team, representing 8 teams here in Brisbane. This table you're watching is our vice captains taking on each other, and later this evening we're going to have our captains table, which will be just as fascinating. The vice captains, the consensus in the room is perhaps the 8 best players in each team. It's a really stacked table, and the captains are the head, the legends.
You've got some amazing tournament poker players. I mentioned it earlier, but you've got 2 Aussie Million ring winners. You've got players that have finished not only on the final table at the WPT a couple of days ago, but you've got winners. You've got winners all round. There's no weak link on this table. I mean, Malcolm Trainer won the WSOP bracelet.
It is. And
You know, it's just amazing.
And Pikachu has come in and tossed at least 2 Aussie million rings on the table, I would have thought. Yes, at least.
Yeah.
It's, it is stacked.
Yeah, that's why I just threw out the 100 first.
So the format again, Tony, just in case people have sort of, joined us a little bit later, and I don't expect everyone was on from bang on the start of the stream. So we've got 8 teams. Our state teams are Victoria, New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, Queensland. And then we've got an international team. That's the white hats there, the international team. We've got our international China team. And we have our team from New Zealand. That makes up our 8. Each team has pulled together 21k to buy in as a team. And there's going to be 3 rounds. This is the second round of this. The first was played this afternoon. And there's points for each player depending on their finish on each table. So the winner of each table gets 15 points for their team. And then it works its way down to 8th, 1 point for 8th. And there'll be a progressive table that will come up at some stage soon. Our producer's working on that to give you a bit of an update on where things sit. But we already have an all-in and a call. So, Tony, we're going to see the Ace-Jack suited against the Ace-King off. And guess who's out first, Tony? The Jungle Man with his aggressive nature, unfortunately running his Ace-Jack into an Ace-King, and he leaves with 1 point as our first eliminated player.
And Andrew Moroney got him?
But that is indistinguishable to how I am when I'm drunk.
Where do you get the kale from? Yeah. I don't know where to get the kale from here, bro. They got some QR codes.
There's definitely something about these single table tournaments almost, they're a tournament within themselves.
Okay. There's a restaurant upstairs, okay.
So you're not, you're only concerned with the player
What's it called?
who's on the table. No one's coming, joining from an outside table that you're not familiar with. This is a single knockout event. Andrew getting Ace-King again.
You can see that the players are really enjoying themselves. And there's quite a bit of banter too.
I think that's been the main thing that I've seen today is just the amount of chat, the amount of noise out there. And, the number of times that, if a player's all in, his teammates get up, from the other tables to make sure that he's going to stay alive, or, there's it's very much a camaraderie going on.
Jungle busted.
We have all the points from round 1. We're just endeavouring to get a graphic up to show that to you.
I'm not talking about the point.
The full race at 3,200. 5 hole. 6 hole. 7 hole. 32.
Alrighty, poker players, in the opening event, this is your 2-minute warning. Start making your way back to the tables. Players in the 8-match opening event, start making your way back to your tables. This is your 2-minute warning.
8 jacks.
All poker players in the opening event, start taking your seats, please. This is your 90-second call. We're about to commence.
So, just going to keep you here till the end of this hand. Hash, you're a busy man.
Yeah, very busy. I'm going to get out there.
And I'm keeping you here because we're just going to whack in the chat the points after round one, because we can do that in real time. Can't put a graphic up in real time because we are commentating this a half an hour behind. We're actually watching what you're watching. Outside of Tony running outside to say good day to the boys, we have no idea what's going on out there in real time. So there it is in your chat. So we've got New South Wales on 33.5. No, that's not in any order. Victoria's leading. Victoria in 38.5 points for Victoria. New South Wales 33.5, Queensland 31.5. WA's got 40. Why don't they just put these up in order for us? No. WA in the lead. 48.5. Wow.
Yeah.
They're miles in front.
Could change.
Could change quickly.
Well, I'm going to cut you a bit short halves, so I've got to get going.
No, I've got to cut you short, but there you go. Thanks for coming in. We'll get Tony back in at some stage, I'm sure, to talk us through how this is going. I mean, you're so intricately involved in the concept of this and putting this together. There was even, some really late changes with how the points were going to be distributed to just try and make it a bit more, team orientated. So, thanks, Hash. Thanks for giving us this bit of excitement.
No,
and
thank you.
We'll get you in a little later, and we'll have another voice on the microphone pretty soon. So thanks,
good,
bud.
mate.
Be good.
Thank you.
Tony Hasham there. Going to head back out and do a bit of admin. Obviously, one of the major owners of the Australian Poker Tour, and very, very passionate about what's going on out there. Just going to recap those points for you because it's now a little bit clearer to me. WA's in front after round one with 48.5 points. Victoria's on 38.5, so 10 points behind. New South Wales 33.5, Queensland 31.5. Our international team 32, New Zealand on 29, and the China international team down the bottom on only 5 points. But I'm sure this can turn around pretty quickly. Malcolm Trainer taking that pot down. Seven players remaining on this feature table. We lost the Jungle Man. And a reminder that this is the table of the vice captains of this State of Origin challenge. Probably be repeating myself a little bit as we go through this, as more and more people join the stream. We welcome you. You can see how many people have jumped on in the last 15 minutes, which is great. I think there's been a lot of excitement around this event, what sort of traction it's going to get after disappearing off the poker scene for so long. But as I said when Tony was here, I think there's a little something extra in being part of a team in a sport that is so individual, and the honour of representing your state or your country in New Zealand's case, or your international team for the two internationals here, the China international and the wider international team. One of our regulars down here in Australia and on the Australian Poker Tour representing the international team on one of the outside table, Jack Ramsden. I'm sure a lot of you guys would know Jack well. He did extremely well in round one. Malcolm hits the 8 on the flop there. And Corey with nothing bets out 3. He'll get called. And it was worth his little bit of play there as he picks up a jack. Jumps ahead. You can see the winning percentage chance down the bottom of the graphic. And now Corey gets the check mark. Corey gonna try for a little value bet here. Potentially not. Well, it's like he's having a look. It's a juicy 9,000 bet into a 15k pot. And gets a call. No, gets a raise. Wow. Okay. So Corey's head will be spinning now. And that is going to do it. And what a great bet that was from Malcolm. Fantastic. God, you see some great poker. See some great courage sitting here watching a table like this.
Oh, really? That makes things a lot different.
It makes it easier to be bluffing.
It makes it a lot easier to be bluffing. I probably got bluffed, I guess. Damn. Should have told me. What do you think? What? 16? 16?
All right, poker players in the state of origin, teams events. Your blinds are up. Blinds are now 1,000, 2,000. The 2,000 big blind.
So as you can hear there, the blinds have just
and dealers in a state of origin teams event. Your blinds are up.
jumped up.
Yeah, like 9-4 of clubs or something then.
It'll be next hand.
You can have 4-5 off.
Yeah.
Also, poker players, we do have the PLO 8
That was a pair.
national champs.
King
If
8.
anyone is interested,
Obviously, didn't have that. I didn't have that.
$2,200.
Malcolm, pretty active, but Travis here with the pocket 10s. Coming out of the small blind. And Travis takes it with the raise. As we mentioned, runner-up in the WPT. It's just been such a great run for him and such a great run of poker for the last few weeks in Queensland. It's just a terrific talking about terrific, we got rid of the little midget Tony Hasham out of here, and we've just had to make a bit more space in our commentary area for the great Andrew Bogut, who played on this very table this afternoon and did incredibly well. Better known, obviously, for your basketball prowess, but you're a handy poker player, aren't you?
I don't know if I go that far, but yeah, I got second place in the first game and then just completely bombed, jammed pocket jacks on the button and ran into pocket queens. So a little unlucky there, but yeah, it's been fun so far.
Just Travis picking up some cards here. He's just got aces as well. There's a few players on a good run of cards. A couple of guys have been absolutely card dead so far on this table. Now, you also had the experience of going heads up against Spitelli, who does not shut up, does he?
No, he's good fun. He's good fun. I had him dead too, actually, and he ran around me with 10 deuce to get to his straight. Yeah, we had a really fun table on the first table. The second table was a bit more grindy, a bit more quiet, but we introduced the show one card rule, which kind of loosened things up a little bit.
What do you think of the concept, mate? This has been 11 years disappeared, and we've just been talking about the different energy that it brings representing a team. It's such an individual sport, poker, and the opportunity to, don your state colours. You've got your Vic hat on, your country in the case of New Zealand, and the couple of international teams. It's a very different dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good fun. It loosens the game up a little bit, makes you play a little bit more for the team and the points at times. So I wasn't too familiar with it 10, 15 years ago. I've only been in the game for probably just under 10 years. But yeah, it's a cool concept. I mean, the game is super individual and can become super grindy. I think this kind of changes the dynamic a little bit, that you're playing for more than yourself.
Just watch this one play out here. Couple more outs for Corey. He checks. We get the check from Andrew.
King would be brutal.
Yeah, it would have been, but he's. I think Andrew's going to feel pretty okay here. Corey's going to give it a crack. And we got the call. It was an 11K. That was a decent bet. So 18K for Andrew there. Harvey Silver with Andrew Bogut here in commentary. We're at the Voco in Brisbane. It's the Super Series. It's the first time here. Most people who follow the Australian Poker Tour would be familiar with Eaton Hills as the Brisbane venue. We've come inner city. We've come into beautiful hotel, lovely function centre. It's a completely different feel, and I think the players are loving it, actually. They're certainly getting the service. There's a QR code on every table. You can organise your food and your drinks, and a fantastic player lounge, which we don't normally get here. It's a nice setup.
Yeah, it is. Let's just hope there's more of these set up to take it away from those Nordic casinos. They don't treat poker players very well, in my opinion. I've played at numerous casinos around Australia, and I think it's pretty poorly run. So it's begging for more events like this. It's begging for even just card rooms for cash games would be nice in Australia. But we all know the old Star and Crown and the licenses for all those. But I'd love to see, similar to what we see in the US, where you can have dedicated card rooms that actually want the business of poker players instead of your casinos that really only care about machines and table games.
Tell everyone about your poker journey. Did it start at the end of your NBA career, or were you playing a bit of poker while you were playing basketball?
Yeah, I started probably about 10 to 12 years ago, somewhere around there. I used to hate seeing it on ESPN, to be honest with you. It used to be like, this isn't a sport, why is it on ESPN? And then I learned how to play through a teammate of mine with the national team. I had a PlayStation Portable. World Series of Poker game was on there. That's how I learned. And then I actually loved watching it on ESPN because you could learn and see the hands, and it's all obviously face up on TV, so it makes it much easier to learn the game quicker. And then No Limit Hold'em was obviously the game I was introduced to, and now I've kind of ventured into the PLO world. So I haven't played No Limit Hold'em for a long time. This is the first event I've done in a long time, but it's been actually more fun than I remember. So it's a completely different game, but much more kind of tighter game from that aspect of things, and I've enjoyed playing this event so far.
We've got a really nice PLO coming up here at the Australian Poker Tour Super Series. I hope you're going to hang around and play that one, because we actually love streaming PLO too. It's again a really different feel. It's it's too much for me. I actually can't play. There's too much to think about.
A lot going on. Yeah, it's an easy game when you first start, and then you realise how hard it is.
Yeah.
You know, and breeds degenerates. I just love to punt, so it's a lot of action.
I have to ask you, you've got your Victorian hat on. You'll obviously be watching the grand final tomorrow.
I will try to. I'm actually flying to Sydney tomorrow because we have our home opener with the Sydney Kings on Sunday afternoon. So part of the ownership group with the Sydney Kings. And
yes.
In the big game, we actually play tonight in Perth, and then their boys fly back and play Sunday Arvo. So I'll be going to that. But for the grand final, man, I hope Brisbane win it, just because I think they've been pretty unlucky in the last couple of years, getting so close a couple of years, last year, but Sydney just looks so dominant. But I think it's a pretty even battle, to be honest.
Yeah. Isn't momentum an incredible thing? And Brisbane's got all the momentum. They got themselves out of jail twice. Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about?
No, it's good. It's good. It's especially because they dealt with a lot of drama in the off season, which is. For those that follow AFL with the wives and the family and all that kind of stuff, the media was on them like a bad rash, and for them to bounce back from all that turmoil and get to a grand finals is really, really good.
So, yeah, whenever
if you're in Brisbane and you're thinking of a bit of poker and a bit of footy, I know they're putting the game on here. It's going to be a pretty big day of both. So if you want to get down to the Voco and watch the game, and then hop into, I think we've got a massive free roll tomorrow event. So get onto the website or onto the Facebook. You're there already if you're watching this probably, and check out what we've got tomorrow and for the next 9 days. It's a bit of an early start for us with the stream. We don't normally stream the first day or first couple of days, to be honest, but with the State of Origin kicking this off, we just thought we had to show this, and this is going to climax in a big way with the next round. We're going to be watching all the captains on the table for the last round. You'll be out on an outer table for that, and obviously hoping to try and pick up a few more points for Victoria, coming second at the moment.
7 raised to 4,000.
Yes, look, it's just it's an interesting concept. Like I said, you just got to try to get in that top 6 so you can get points. Obviously 7 and 8 get 0 points, and then there's points for every place above that. So there is a bit of a strategy there where you probably don't want to jam in an earlier phase and bomb out like I did. So don't follow what I'm doing. But yeah, it's pretty good so far. Victoria's in the mix. Team China a little bit of a struggle early on, which is always good to see.
Yes. Well, we've already seen Jungle Man bomb out here. Yes, straight out, first one out.
Beautiful. That's what I like to see. But the internationals look very strong.
Yeah,
well,
very strong. And WA, which I understand WA won the last of these, the very last of these, really? 11 years ago. So, and they're out in front at the moment. Always underestimated WA, usually because they're so far away, but very strong team here.
They were just happy to get out of their state, mate.
Yeah.
They were allowed to leave finally, so they're pumped to get anywhere else in Australia.
I'm going to talk a little bit of NBL with you because I'm a big follower of all sports, and the resurgence of the NBL's been fantastic. There were some dark days there for a while, but geez, the competition's strong again.
Yeah, it's very important to get good people involved, and I think Larry Kesselman, who took over the league a number of years ago, invested a lot of money, and then now you've got a lot of clubs having ownership groups that are are not just, no offence to mom and pop investors, but they're not mom and pop investors. That was the issue for the NBL back in the day. You'd have a mom and pop investor invest by a club, and then, you know, if there's losses, they just struggle to put money in for those losses. Now we've got some heavy hitters that have cash, that can reinvest profits, they can cover losses, and that's the unfortunate reality of sport. You're going to have good and bad. It's a roll. It's kind of like poker, right? You're going to have bad periods of a year and good periods, and you're going to run bad, and you got to be able to have the bankroll to sustain it. And now the league's flying on ESPN, on Channel 10. Like I said, I'm involved with Sydney Kings. We've gone from having, you know, 5,000 people attend our games 6-7 years ago to getting over 10,000 every week, sometimes maxing out at 15 to 18,000 at Kudos Bank Arena. So sensational there, and the league's flying, developing a lot of NBA talent. Josh Giddey was here a couple of years ago, went on and got drafted. We've got a young kid named Alex Tui who's got a chance to be a first-round pick next season. So the league's flying, it's competitive. We've got scouts coming here, and, you know, you couldn't be in a better place.
Just watching that hand, even though it was a little pot, just the aggression there, the read that Corey has, he's very, very good at applying late pressure, and I've already seen him win a few pots there, just betting when he thinks he had nothing, and he's thinking, yeah, you know what, I don't think my opponent's very strong here, and just taking, even though, as I say, it was a small pot, just the aggression to take it out. Just following on from what you're saying, I also think the crowds are rediscovering, you know, what a fun night it is to go to the basketball. And I don't know if it was that fun for a while, but it's the whole atmosphere. And I think that's probably come along with the standard of play.
100%.
You know, we've got some, you know, fair income players playing in this league now.
And we're getting good imports now coming over from the US. They've got the Next Star program, which brings young prospects who will be drafted hopefully within a year or two. So it's a good mix. But, you know, it's 2 hours. It's not like the footy sometimes can go for 3, 4, 5 hours before you get home. So, yeah.
All right, this is developing into something very juicy. Vincent has pushed all in with his sevens. Andrew's sitting here with ace-king. And he's gone all in, so he gets the fold, and we're sevens flipping against the ace-king. What do you like here? What would you like to be sitting on?
If I'm holding sevens, ace-king always gets there. So
you want the ace-king, all right.
But we obviously saw there's an out gone. There it is.
Oh, wow.
That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote.
Runner. We'll save him, and that's not... Yeah, well, another diamond. Needs another diamond.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Red too.
It was red. So, nice pot there for Vincent. Andrew still has a fair few chips.
Can I please have some parade chips or somebody?
One's up.
Si, senor.
You're obviously keeping a very close eye on the NBA as well. So many Aussies playing and doing well.
Yeah, 100%. Exciting season coming up. There's a lot of things going on in the NBA, as we know. Boston trying to defend. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting season. It is every year, and just all the Australian talent we have that obviously then go on and play for the national team and the Boomers. It's a great time to be an Australian basketball fan for a country of, you know, 24, 25 million people. To be producing the amount of talent that we are is pretty special, considering, you know, where we were in the 90s and 2000s.
How's the club change work out for Josh Giddey? He was obviously pretty devastated initially, but could work out in his favour?
Yeah, I think better opportunity for him. You know, OKC's so stacked with young talent, they couldn't keep it all. That was always going to happen, that someone would have to leave. Unfortunately, it was Josh. And he gets the keys to Chicago. They're excited. If he shoots the ball well from three, I think he's got a really good chance of being a phenomenal player for him. Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Come on, Kale. Victoria.
Yeah. And he ships it. Now, what does Andrew? He can't, can he?
No, he can't.
Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty, King Queen, but no. King Queen suited, obviously, but it should be a chop, as you say.
Come on, clubs.
King Queen Jack and Diamonds?
Let's go. All clubs.
I king queen hearts.
Oh, I reckon one of us should win.
A lot of blackouts.
A rainbow board, everyone takes their money back, or
Two red diamonds are gone, so it has to be black.
take your money back.
Chop it up. Oh, and there was diamonds there. He had diamonds?
Yeah, like the whole.
Was King Queen of diamonds?
It was.
Wow.
It was. Wow.
Brutal.
And I think he showed the table too. I think the table realised.
Unlucky. Nice fold.
Everything's pretty good.
Tough though, sandwich in the middle of those two.
No.
Yeah,
Mostly fish and cricket and like
mate, I saw something last night. I mean, it's not these stakes, but I don't get a chance to play here because I'm commentating pretty much every night. So ventured across to the New Star last night to have a bit of a look around, and it's not bad. Looks like they've picked up the Star in Gold Coast and just dropped it into Brisbane. It's very similar. I got into the poker room, just playing a little 2-3 game. I'm not a massive cash player. And I found myself four-handed in with pocket sixes, and I was like, what the hell am I doing in here? But it was too much money, and so I had to call. There's a 6 on the flop. Anyway, it's a bit of betting. There's a 6 on the turn. I've got quad sixes. Couldn't get anyone to bite for my all-in on the river. Next hand, I've got a full house, and I've pushed all in, and the bloke's got quad sevens.
Yep.
The next hand.
Bye-bye stack.
I've never seen two hands running like
Back
that.
to back, yeah.
So I don't mind losing my money like that. That sometimes you just shake your head and go, well, that's life.
And that's the thing with these kind of, even tournaments, cash games a little bit different, but you got to win the flips where you're behind a little bit. You got to win the flips, you got to get your good strong hands to hold. You do need some luck along the way, obviously, but the pros have that edge, and you're just going to try to hope you're slightly ahead.
You act out of turn, you will not receive a warning. You were one-hand penalty. But again, it is 3 hands. Do it a third time, and you will receive an orbit. Make sure you know where the action is. Do not act.
If you're on the chat, if you want to ask Andrew Bogut something, here's a rare opportunity. Get on, and we'll endeavour to get an answer, as long as it's not too personal, I suppose. Vincent picks up the walking sticks again. This will be interesting. Corey's 3 better with only 42 behind, so is this a shove?
It's going to be close. One of the blinds out 2,400, yeah.
I just called it.
Wow.
Interesting. Wow. And he's, well, you know what? He probably doesn't call the shove. So, yeah, it's an interesting play there.
We did have 5-4.
You saw?
Didn't see a thing.
He didn't even know the 4 was on the board, bro.
What percentage of players do you think are like strictly solver-based these days?
That'd be very
Too
high
many.
level.
Yeah, do you think it's like?
Yeah, I love the feel of poker, and I think I really enjoy watching the old school guys go up against the young guns, because it's such a different way of playing. I don't play online. I really enjoy poker. I don't play online because I do feel that I have some sort of read on people and my feel on people's, and and I also enjoy the community of playing. Whereas I think online, it's mathematical, and it's and it's a bit
But even live, like there's a lot of players now that are strictly training in.
But I'm saying I think they come from that. You know, I think they come and it's a lonely. You know, to me it feels a bit lonely too. And you know the old school and the guys who put less, you know, on that tend to me to be a little bit more active in chat and you know, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, as I'm amateur recreational, like, you know, we obviously just want to play for the fun of the game, and I think the solvers somewhat take. I mean, it's a great tool to use and utilise, but it becomes pretty mundane and boring if you just have 6 players at a table that are all solver based. You know, it's like it's pretty A to B, you know. But I know there's a huge debate in the poker community about it, but I just wanted to see what people's thoughts were about it.
Yeah, look, you know, I think when you then break down who's, you know, winning lots of dough, you know, there probably are a lot of mathematical based players there, and you know there still is as much as there's a luck, you know, element involved in the cards that you're getting, there's obviously a really strong mathematical element, and you know, the other thing that I think we don't see enough of perhaps is patience, because I think you've got to have incredible patience to play this game. The bloke I see demonstrate that more than anyone's Joe Hasham. I cannot believe the patience that guy shows on the table. That's probably why he's sitting there watching golf videos and, you know, all sorts of stuff on, you know.
And it also helps you get a massive win early in your career too, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, you win a massive tournament early in your career, like, it gives you that boost of confidence that you got, you know, everything else is a free roll the rest of your poker life, really.
Yeah,
because you know you got very good players around the world that have never, you know, won a major tournament, but always are up there somewhere, just can't get over the line.
Absolutely.
You know? So I guess your mindset would change a little bit if you've knocked a big tourney on the head.
And you know, and the fallout or the residual of that for Joe, you know, has also been, you know, what he did for poker in Australia, and it probably would never have happened that quickly without him as an individual having that sort of success and then becoming, you know, such a strong ambassador for it as well. But the one thing no one will hear me do on this stream, if they've listened to me, you know, in the past APTs, is I will not be commenting on people's play, because I actually think there's no wrong way of playing. You know, sometimes you get a feel and you go with your feel. Sometimes it is just the odds tell you, you know, to do this. Sometimes you're playing a player and you're happy to lose a few pots to that player because you're creating an image. So, you know, there's lots of ways of playing, and it's a hell of a lot easier when we can see the cards here.
Yeah, everyone's a genius after the fact, right? Hindsight's a beautiful thing for that reason. So it's always funny, you hear poker discussions post-flop, how could you do that? And you're just like, well, you know, everyone makes mistakes along the way, and that's life, that's poker. It's amazing how it correlates. A lot of people's poker play really correlates to how they live their life and how they invest in business and what they do with their money. Like it's quite freaky how much it you know, goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think your discovery of poker is probably a pretty common one among sports people, because, you know, the idea that it's gambling and the idea, you know, as soon as you see cards and money and chips involved, it probably, you know, for a lot of sports people, it doesn't give them that same sort of buzz, because for you there's always the challenge of beating someone, of doing your best, of, you know, making good decisions, you know, all of that sort of stuff. But then you start to discover that, in fact, poker does replicate that in a lot of ways. And then it becomes something that, oh, hang on, I actually am into this game, and I you know, I can test myself, and you know, my body may not be able to do what it did from a sports perspective, but my mind still does a lot of that same sort of thing, and I can do it here on a table.
Yeah, 100%. As our big hands might play out here.
I think so.
While Joe's looking at his pre-flop raise rate, doesn't do it a whole lot. He's just smooth quartered, has he? Yep.
Hopefully someone gets showered here.
So there might be some alarm bells with Joe being in hand right now, I think. Oh.
Not a great flop for the sevens. Got to see Joe betting here.
5 bet 6,000.
Super small bet. I think it gives Corey a little bit of odds to call.
So that's an interesting card. I think he's going to slam here, don't you?
Oh, he's blocking pretty well.
5 bets 11,000.
Yeah.
And nice pot.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your question, poker was a great game for me because it was something I could do away from the floor. It didn't take a toll on my body. You know, I didn't want to play tennis or some other sport that's putting a load on my body away from training. I want to rest the body, use the brain. So, you know, you usually find chess, checkers. Poker was one that I really liked. And we travel a lot in the NBA. We have 41 away games plus playoffs. So we ended up having a pretty good crew in Golden State that played poker on every flight. So we'd play for, you know, we'd have 5-hour flights that felt like you didn't want them to land because you're stuck in the moment of the game and you know, you're battling your teammates, and it brought a lot of camaraderie to our squad as well because we played every single flight. Get right on the plane, we had tables ready, and we play, and it was a really, really cool dynamic and some juicy games with NBA players, I can tell you that.
7 calls, 2,400.
Yeah, if we're going to talk American sport, I do have to ask you about the Japanese baseballer for the Dodgers. Is this guy the greatest player we've ever seen? He's unbelievable.
I'm going to plead the fifth here, and I don't follow baseball too much, but I know he's doing really well.
So this guy's signed a 10-year, $1 billion contract, which
yeah.
And from what I've seen, because I only started to take notice of him when I heard that, he's probably worth it because he's unbelievable.
And the fact that he's Japanese, they are absolutely crazy for the game over there. They love the game. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for Major League Baseball to, you know, have his jersey sales alone would probably pay that contract back almost, you know.
So I saw, for all you baseball aficionados, don't hammer me please, but I've only taken an interest in him particularly, you know, in the last month or so, but I see that he's hit 50 homers and stolen 50 bases in a season faster than anyone else, and he had a 6-hitter game and followed that up with the winning home run, and he's just doing incredible things. He's going to be massive. He's just, if you're doing that, and they love their baseball over there, don't they?
And it's a game you can generally play for a long, long time. You know, if you treat your body right, you can play that game, you know, 15, 20 years without an issue. You know, so pretty wild that they play a lot of games,
160, something like that.
Yep.
Crazy.
But obviously, pitchers aren't pitching every night and whatnot. But yeah, you can't believe when I was living in the States, they got games on like a random Tuesday at 2 p.m. There'll be a game when I was in Milwaukee, and I'm like, people just leave work and go to the game. They'll tailgate in the car park. It's kind of a pretty cool atmosphere about it. Very, very drink-orientated sport. You know, you got to have alcohol or beer involved. But yeah, they love it over there. It's probably the best sport to go with mates if you want to talk as well.
Yes, because there's a lot of not going on time.
So it's one of those sports where you're like, you know, basketball, you're like, kind of, all right, mate, shut up for a second. Kind of like poker, right? Like, even when we're commentating, you want to stop for a bit and get in the play. Baseball's a good one. Similar to cricket, we can actually have really good conversations before anything happens. You know?
So we're still 7-handed here. This State of Origin table. This is featuring our vice captains of each team. We've lost our China international team representative, the Jungle Man, who I gather is bombed out pretty early in the previous round as well.
Yep.
And I'm joined by NBA legend Andrew Bogut, who is representing Victoria. He did incredibly well in round one, finishing second on the table, and unfortunately did bomb out early this round. That's why you're here with us. So we appreciate that. Not going to keep you much longer because I think we'll be going on a break soon, and it is dinner time.
Food, yeah.
And you want to get that in. A lot of options here. We're at the Voco in Brisbane. It's the APT's first time in this hotel-style ballroom atmosphere in Brisbane, and it's really working. If you're in the area, want to come down and play some poker, there's satellites here for as little as $80, and you can come down and stick 25k in for the big. That's going to be a massive event, that one, the 25k buy-ins and anything in between. And we finish up next Sunday, not in 2 days, but in 9 days, with the main event final table on the Sunday. So lots and lots of poker. If you're on the coast, sunny coast in Brisbane, or if you even want to jump in a plane after the grand final, if you're down in Victoria, and come and play some poker, please do. You'll be made to feel very welcome. It's a great setup here. We've got about 60 tables in the complex. There's a couple of satellite rooms. There's a big foyer area, and of course we're in this main ballroom. You can see the tables behind there. There's a great shot for us. You can come and rail your favourite player. Malcolm and Travis again. Seem to be taking each other on a fair bit.
Pretty even stacks.
Dice right.
So Malcolm checks with the fours.
Auto bet here on the float. You would think.
Decides to check with the 2 overs. Doesn't hit though.
Add back in just the first level.
You can see that Malcolm's got the check mark with the fours. Bets 8. Travis checking out his stack. Any posturing here, or does he think that he might be able to steal this?
I think the steal was on the turn, really. But a re-up might get it done. He just called?
Just called it. Thought his king high might have been enough there. So, with all sincerity, mate, good luck as a fellow Victorian. I hope you can bring some points home in the third and final round, which will probably get going in a couple of hours. The great Andrew Bogut, one of the legends, the icons, playing here in the State of Origin event. Maybe one more hand, mate. We'll let you go and grab some dinner.
In 4 years.
6,000.
See, 6 raise, 6,000.
A hand I doubled up with in the first game. Ace 9 of diamonds. Oh, here we go.
Decides to get rid of it. Andrew, it's probably a little, maybe a little tighter here than we saw in round one. It's
Well, Riley DS 3001 claiming there's a bunch of nits playing and get me up to Brizzy.
which we love. I don't think this is a table of nits somehow, but
No.
there might be a bit of sarcasm there. But the get me up to Brizzy part, absolutely. And man, are we going to have some good weather here next week too. So I've said it numerous times, if you've got any opportunity to get up come. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun week. Thank you, Mr. Bogut. It's been a pleasure. I'll come out and have a look at you in round 3.
Hopefully I'll still be there.
You will still be there. You need the points. We need the points.
We do. All right, mate.
Andrew Bogut, thanks for joining us.
See you, everyone.
Thanks, mate.
How the fuck did Patrick Cripps get 45 votes?
Because you forgot to bet. That's how.
That's still outrageously 45.
That is such a privilege for me to sit with one of Australia's undoubtedly greatest ever sports people. Andrew Bogut loves his poker. How good's that for poker? But we've got someone like that. You can hear a bit of table talk. I'm going to be a bit quieter now for you. I think it's a bit of grand final or AFL table talk happening out there. We'll be joined by another Aussie poker legend shortly, but at the moment you'll have to put up with my dulcet tones. Harvey Silver here with you, having a great time watching this State of Origin challenge.
Word vomit everything out for the whole table.
Poker players finally being able to represent a team wearing their state or country or international representative uniform, their name on the back. Feels a bit 2020 cricket. And some good poker being played here by some very, very accomplished players on this feature table. Getting a question about the format, and that's fair. Not everyone's been on the stream for ages. Each player's representing their team, and the points that they gain for where they finish on the table goes to their team point score. And the winning team will be the top team, one that's gained the most points over 3 rounds of play. We're in the second round at the moment.
That's me.
And we're going to see an all-in and a call. The Jacks up against the Ace-10. Carl Burns representing Victoria. Well, us Victorians hoping that he can spike an ace or perhaps a straight here. Let's see what he's got. He gets the ace and stays alive at the moment. Oh, hang on a second. Ain't over. Another club will send him out. It is not a club. So
27-5. Big win for Victoria there.
Victoria stays, not only stays alive, but absolutely jumps, does Carl Burns there from a reasonably short stack, and leaves his counterpart a bit short. So just going back to the format, we've got 8 teams. There are 8 players across 6 tables in each of 3 rounds. And they start getting points for their team from 6th place. So our 6th place player, or 6th knockout, is gets 1 point, and all the way up to 15 points for the winner. As it stands, WA has got the most points after round 1, 48.5, and it's 10 points ahead of Victoria. New South Wales and Queensland very close behind. It's all very tight. It'll turn around completely after this round, and then we're going to have the privilege of watching the captains of each team play on this table after dinner, late into the night, as we have another all-in, but Travis only with 700 behind. He's ahead, though, with his ace-10. Oh, should be right now.
Fair enough. All right, how much?
26.7.
Oh no, he had more than that. It was 26. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Someone needs a bus.
Easy come, easy go, boys.
Is the next level too poor? Like, we're really cooking.
So no one really short yet on this table.
Yeah,
Carl was, but that double up obviously helped him out enormously. Staying alive for Victoria on this table.
How much you got, like 35?
You can see from the numbers up on the top there, on the top right-hand corner, 48 players starting this, so that's the 6 tables of 8. 11 of those players have been eliminated, 1 off this table. Another 10 off the 5 tables outside. Still a lot of play in this second round of the State of Origin. These are the vice captains of their teams. And as I said, the captains, led by Victoria's Joe Hasham, will feature on the third and final feature table here, which is going to be some hours away, the way that we're going.
I have 33-3. What about you? Any points? We'll take it.
C2 raise to 10.
All right, players.
We need spin
rack.
rack.
You're not yet commenced your shuffle. Your blinds are up.
33.
2,500, 5,000 with the 5,000 big blind ante. 2,500, 5,000 with the 5,000 big blind ante.
It's getting serious
Dealers
now.
and players in the State of Origin, if you have not yet commenced your shuffle, your blinds are up. 2,000, 4,000 with the 4,000 big blind ante. 2,000, 4,000 with the 4,000 big blind ante.
Lines are up. 2,000, 4,000.
Sure. A lot of post-flop play. Yeah.
Probably picking up a lot of residual noise in the room. It's a bit raucous out there. It's a very different feel with this team concept. A lot of teammates, when someone's all in it, getting up and going over to the other table and checking out what's going on, yelling as Andrew picks up aces for the international team.
You could probably do this in a different way, where you just do like a draft, like we did, and then just play a normal tournament.
Just one tournament.
Yeah, just play a tournament.
How you do the draft?
Like how we did. We just everyone selects the team.
It's just a call with the
And
aces,
then everyone just
and Travis
I got some.
comes in on the big blind.
Points based on the finish.
yeah. Like, yeah. Probably just go away.
Oh, wow. And there you go. So Andrew's gone from trapping with aces to probably out the door here, I'd say. He bets just 4,000. I'm sure thinking that he's keeping Travis in. He decides that he's going to raise to 9.5, and you can probably mark it down here that Andrew's re-raising, probably all in. Just decides to call. So the two flush draws out there. Don't think they're going to just check here. No, it's the all-in call. Oh, wow. Well, let's just finish with another 8 to make it quads. And Andrew finds himself out with aces. And how often does that happen? Big win there for Travis.
In the money, boys. In the money. That was a grueling bubble.
Alright, players registered for the main event. This is your 4-minute warning. Players registered for the main event.
And
Flight A.
we lose one. So what that means is that we're now in the points. This is a bit different to a tournament where we say we're in the money. We're now in the points with 6 players left on the table. Our next eliminated player will get 1 point for their state, all the way up to 15 points for the winner on this table now. And again, how often do we see aces get done in that type of situation? You just feel you're just dragging your opponent along, trying to get all their money in, and they finish up with quads. Corey is a nice 8 raised with the 8s.
Rely on Joe to fold his big blind. Consistent.
Busted here, what the fuck?
They're still. They have 8.
All in? C4's all in?
They have 8.
C5 fold. C6 calls. Could be me.
So Travis decides to push it in, but Vincent wakes up in the big blind with ace-9 and calls. It's Vincent at risk here. Hits the 8. Hits the ace, I should say. However, a jack's the out for Trav. No. And nice double up there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So what's on the spread for the food tonight? This is a real question.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Just some fucking damage.
You must be starved.
Some prawn cutlets.
Well, that will do damage.
Some chicken
They bring out some like
skewers, the captain's skewers. There's going to be like, there'll be some spread on for sure.
There'll be some flies.
How can they still be 8-handed? That's insane.
Me and Linsky were done by now. In our game.
Yeah.
All right, players, skillers in the back left flight. This is your, we are starting in just under 30 seconds.
John,
Everyone at the table.
OG Sunrunner.
C5 raise,
Moving in 5. Steelers in the back left flight. Your fight winning C5.
So Joe, who's probably been the quietest on this table, raises it up with ace queen here.
And players in the main event, your players will start at 100, 200. You're right to shove up the deal. You will remain down to 1.5.
pretty sure mine finishes 2.55. Is that?
No.
You start at 100, 200. You are right to shove up the deal.
Check. 600 checks.
Corey hits the 9 on the flop. He checks it.
7. C5 bet, 7,000.
So the Queenslander with a decision to make here. Top pair.
C7's all in.
Decides to push. This would be Joe's last 36k if he calls. I think he might. Yeah, he does. So his outs are up there on the top corner. He needs an ace or a queen.
Deuce.
Or a deuce now. No. So we lose another one. Geez, after having 7 sitting here for the longest time, we're bang, bang, bang down to 5 as we lose our South Australian representative, picks up 1 point for his state.
Him, then him. You haven't got one away.
So a walk there for Cal. He is our shortest stack on the table here, the Victorian representative. Not sure how much noise is coming through my microphone here, but it is so raucous out on the floor live. We, of course, are streaming this on a half-hour delay. I've got no idea what's going on out there, apart from the fact that there's a lot of yelling and screaming. But this is what the team concept does. You're not only playing for yourself here, you're playing for your teammates. 6 on each team here representing their state, their country in the case of New Zealand, and we have 2 international teams, the China international team and the general riff-raff from everywhere else around the world who've combined into a team, so that in the nicest possible way. These guys have pulled together a buy-in of 21k for their team. winning team and the runner-up will walk away with some very decent prize money. And there is also a prize for the individual overall highest point scorer over the 3 rounds. Travis, who's sitting on this table, is very much in the running for that. He won his first table and sitting here still with a good number of chips. He decides to fold though, there.
Belongs to Mr. Malcolm.
He's a big reason why West Australia's out in front on the points table after round 1, taking his winnings, or his winning table in round 1.
All in.
Kale pushes all in with his King Jack, which will get him that pot.
Currently there are 12 players registered in that competition. If 2 nights, we go to the draw for 2 nights.
Really enjoyed the play of our chip leader on this table. Queenslander, Corey. He picked up some smallish pots early, just with his aggression and really good reads on his opponents. He was miles behind in some of those pots, but just his read was good.
That's all in.
As Kale shoves again, this time with Ace King. And it'll get through as well. See Craig Abernathy lurking around here. We'll get him on the microphone soon, I'm sure. He reckons maybe an hour. He's still working away on various things. Probably still a bit pissed that he wasn't included in the State of Origin teams. One of our very, very good players, but also a great ambassador for the sport here with his website listing all the poker events around the country, making sure that our players don't miss out on an opportunity to play. I'm sure he'll join us at some stage.
Level at the end of your next hand, you're going to 5-minute break. It will be a hard 5-minute break. You guys are on a 5-minute break, guys. Players and dealers at the end of completion of your current hand, you will get a 5-minute break.
So Vincent pushes in now. All of it. 66-4. He's going to get called by Kale, who has the ace-9 and is very much ahead here.
Diamonds, Hamish.
He's got my favourite hand, I know that.
We've seen the Queen-9, especially when it's suited. It gets there so often, there's so many combinations, but as it stands, the ace-9 sitting nicely, and that's a really good flop.
I'll take it.
Pushes him to 86% chance here. It's only a queen now.
Yeah.
So big double up for Kale. And
40,
what's going on here?
Well, so it's 8, 9, 49, 3.
It's gonna.
So we're on a break.
23, 41, 41. Yeah.
We're on a break now.
49, 3. 53.
We'll just let him calculate it out. I'm pretty sure we are going on a break. They're asking the question there. And we are. We're on a break.
Should I sort the deck or no?
So we are on a break. As you can see, they've all run because it's dinner time. I can hear in real time there's a lot more poker to go in this round. There's a lot of yelling and screaming going on. We'll be back with you shortly for the conclusion of this one.
Raggers all in.
T6 all in.
Let's go, Raggers.
Oh my god, how ugly is that?
Music to his ears.
That being said, you might have. Oh,
That's a pretty flat, aren't they? So lucky I had easy calls. How wide do I jam? I don't know. Yeah, but like how what's the order? I don't know.
3.5 blinds. Awesome.
What's the bottom of my jam range here? Because like big blind empty.
Ah, you get the jam pretty wide.
What about like
8, 9?
I mean, you could get some pay jumps a little bit different, pardon?
yeah 7-5 off?
No, no way.
Because then you eat the big blind.
I know you do. But you're going to eat the big blind next time
7-6?
still. I wouldn't think so. He'll come back. I want to do. You're supposed to fold some hands first jam too.
Huh?
You are supposed to fold some hands first to jam.
Yeah.
Probably not that, but he's a bit heavy. Maybe. Like King 7 suited, I don't know. You guys 3 behind. Seems fucking close.
I certainly wouldn't have been.
So Corey can one now. Yeah, pay jumps. We're getting some pay jumps over here.
Alright, players,
No,
in
sorry,
the opening event, dealers, we've got conventional shopping, your blind are now 2,000, 6,000 with a 6,000 big blind ante, 3,000, 6,000 with a 6,000 big blind ante.
Seat 8 raise 10. Seat 2 fold. Seat 4 fold. Seat 6.
Call.
6-7 all in. Seat 8 call.
We're all in, boys. Don't even watch them. Victoria, you got to give me some sweats here.
Not my jacks this time.
I'm all in. I got jacks.
He's trying jacks this time. He's going to waste no. No, I'm not. I'm not doing
Whoa!
Do it to him one time. Punish the Sunrunner. Come on!
Red one! How much?
I got like 140.
Alright, good luck, boys.
I like to go.
I got stacks. Jacks was ace.
He's covered now?
Yeah, I had 140.
Yeah, we had lots of good tricks.
But I like
Right, race off, please.
What kind of a mate is that?
Are we racing off now?
Yep.
You guys go.
Oh, you're right.
got lucky.
Let's go.
Just removed Alex Linsky, gave him the 2 points in your spreadsheet.
Double suited tens.
4 folds. 7 calls. Option. Two raise 13,000. 7 calls. Two all in. All in.
Queen Jack.
7 folds. Bets 5,000. Two folds. Four calls. Hands up. C4 check. 8. C7 bets 8,000. for all in. $60.
All in.
All in, seat 7's all in.
We're on Corey here. Sorry, WA.
Ace in the window.
Oh my god. Oh no.
The heat is too hard to beat.
60.
Yeah, you look like.
He's doing this. Oh yeah. I think once he's in, he can't be in.
You thought of 9s? Wow. That's insane. That's a massive fall. I would never fall. I don't know, but I would never fall.
Small bumpers. Two checks. Heads up. C7 checks. C2 bets 5. C7 calls. C7 checks. C2 bets 14,000.
Players in the state of origin, your blind are up. They are 3,000, 6,000 with a 6,000 big blind ante if you mention shuffle. Your blinds are now 3,000, 6,000 with a 6,000 big blind ante.
No. Wait. Oh yeah. Sorry.
C7 checks. C2 bets 45,000.
Alright, players and girls, that's line 8. If you have not yet commenced your shuffle, your blinds are now up 200, 400 with a 400 big blind ante, 200, 400.
So we can see how quickly things turn around here. Corey's got the 2 pair. And Malcolm. Wow. Wow. All right. We might get a little bit of feedback on the chat there. Three-handed now on this vice-captain's table in the State of Origin. We're actually not that far away on the other tables as well. On the outer tables, we're down to three-handed, four-handed, a couple of two-handed tables. So we're not far from finishing this round, which is the second of 3 rounds. For round 3, we have the captains joining the table to play off against each other. The other players are randomly selected onto the other 5 tables. Reminder that in this State of Origin format, you pick up points for where you finish in each round. So 8 players starting on the table. Points start being allocated from 6th. You get 1 point for 6th, and then all the way up to 15 points for the winner on each table. The 15 points go to your team score, to your state score, and the team that has the most points at the end of 3 rounds is going to be the State of Origin champion. And there is an additional prize, and including the beautiful Drakakis APT ring for the individual player that gains the most points over the 3 rounds. This bloke is well in the mix for that. Travis Enderby, who decides to push all in with 6s. He gets a call with the 4s of Corey. This is a massive, massive hand here. The 2 chip leaders on this table up against each other. There's a lot of action going on the outside tables too, as you can hear. It's raucous in here. The 6s are ahead. Only one of the 2 4s now for Corey. So Travis, who won the first round, now is the massive chip leader here in round 2. He has picked up max points in round 1 for WA. He's going to pick up significant points again, leading his team incredibly well. I suppose at this point in time, the small pair over the mid pair, or the probably 2 small pairs really, 4s against 6s, going to find all the chips into the middle, and that's a very big double up. Vaults Travis into the huge chip lead on this table.
50 back.
Corey. Oh, and gets the call. So Corey at risk now. 48k with his King 2. He's been called by Malcolm Trainer with his Ace 5. King is nice for Corey.
6.
Leaves Malcolm with just the ace to get him out of trouble here. Doesn't come, so
50 total.
Nice.
53, I think.
After losing that big pot, Corey doubling up through Malcolm, who now becomes the short stack on the table.
58. Oh, 48. 48.
Yeah.
Yep.
48.
48.
Easy, queen in the window. Easy, queen in the window.
Just loving this format. The extra pressure of representing your team and trying to maximise the points for your team. What you're hearing out on those outer tables is a lot of the teammates who've been knocked out backing their players that are still there. A lot of yelling and screaming. Very different feel to that individual play that we're so used to in poker. All of a sudden, when you've got mates that are relying on you, and here we go again as Malcolm with the Jack 10 suited.
We're rooting for you, Malcolm. Jack Ball. I'm going to be anti-WA.
Decides to fold that. No, he didn't fold. We're looking at the flop now. I think this is the one hand I was warned that we had a little bit of problem with the graphics here, so it's going to be hard for me to commentate this one for you. Can't even see the flop cards there. Does look like the chips will be going from WA over to New South Wales. Apologies there. As I say, we did have one hand there that I was warned that the graphics just halted on us. Happens every so often. Thanks, Pikachu, in the chat for filling everybody in there. Really do also enjoy the interactive nature of this. We love to hear from you, even if you're going to give us some shit. I don't care. We much prefer to have you involved. So
I think I got like 95.
Doing our best to keep you abreast of everything that's happening here in this state of origin. It's even hard for us here in commentary and in the production area because there's so much going on the outside tables as well. Every table is actually as valuable as this feature table that we're watching, which is unusual because normally we're watching the conclusion of a tournament and the high-end money here on this table. But what's going on the other 5 tables as far as points for the various state of origin teams is as important as this one. What I can tell you though is WA were doing very well after round 1 and continue to do well. Travis has led from the front for his team, raises it up on the button with the King 8 suited. He's got an all-in from Corey, and here is another knockout opportunity.
9 ball. We need a 9.
No, we don't need anything.
Yeah, just take a 9.
Corey ahead at the moment.
Hold. Pretty good.
It's a pretty good flop for 9s.
Hold. 9.
And
Hold.
no spade. Oh, but the king comes. Of course it does.
9 ball.
Of course it does. And that is the end of Corey. So we're down to heads up on the table. And I'll tell you what, if WA finishes holding on here, they're going to have a lot to thank this man for. He is clearly the leading player in the room at the moment, having won round 1. He's now heads up here on this table. And I'm reminded, as I have mentioned a couple of times on the stream, it's been 11 years since we played this State of Origin format, and WA won it 11 years ago. They were the last team to take this out. So even though there's 11 years between sessions, they are technically the defending champions. Geez, he's played well. Okay, maybe got a little bit lucky there hitting the king, but generally Travis has really been in control of this table. He's been in control of this State of Origin, to be honest. If he takes this out, he's going to be very, very hard to catch as the player of the event too, because that's going to mean 15 points from the first 2 rounds max points, even second place here, still going to make him hard to catch. In such a competitive environment. Malcolm's hit the 2, the bottom end of this flop. This might take the lead here. Malcolm has 2 pair with his pair of 2s and the 10s on the board. And he does bet out, which gets Travis to fold. The VPIP is the amount of voluntary money going into the pot, so that's not including the blinds. And they're both around the same VPIP action, pretty low percentages there. Voluntary money going into the pot.
Finish up the hand on. You are on a 15-minute break. You are now on a 15-minute break, players, of the opening event.
So you can hear the background announcements there. That's for the opening event here, not for this one. And have we got some interest there too? A pretty full room in this beautiful ballroom at the Voco. And hopefully I won't be on my own in the commentary position for much longer as we recruit some of the players who've been knocked out. Lucky to have Andrew Bogut with us for a while there. Can see some other talented poker players milling around, and I'm sure for our last round we'll be grabbing one of those and helping me along with the commentary into the night, which doesn't now look like being such a late night. We thought we were going to at least be going through till midnight. It may not happen. These guys have run through their 2 rounds in pretty good time. This one especially. Round 1 was a little longer, but this one's been pretty aggressive. I've seen a lot of big hands going up against each other. These are 2 rubbish hands going up against each other. We'll see who might get aggressive with this one and take it out. And the first player to bet out takes it. That player, little pot. So what'll happen here, just for everyone watching the stream, once we get a winner on this table, we'll go to break on the stream. There may be some action still going on the outside 5 tables, and we won't start round 3 until we have a winner on all 5 tables. That table will be the captains of each of the State of Origin teams. And if you think this was a stacked table, which it was, I mean, wow, the talent we had here to start with. And if you think that was stacked as the vice captains, it's going to get even more impressive as we go into round 3. Malcolm Trainer from New South Wales has the King 10 suited. That's a nice strong hand heads up. And I am, luckily enough, going to get a co-commentator. There might only be 1 or 2 more hands left here. We're not too sure. Hello, Mr. Crilly.
How you going, Harvey? It's good to see you, man.
Good to see you in your Queensland top.
Yeah.
Representing your state.
Yeah, it's very good to be a part of the State of Origin this year. Get the call up. It's been a lot of fun so far today.
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to get more than 1 or 2 hands with you in here. We're heads up with these 2, and I do have to tell you that after winning round 1, Travis is just going all guns blazing here too. He is killing it.
I tell you what, it's one of those things where when things are just going right, you're playing well, things are clicking, you're running good, you just feel so confident, and it all comes together. It all comes together very well. And he is running very good, but he is also playing very good. So it's hard to beat.
Mate, I've been saying all along, I've had, a couple of people in here as well. This is such a departure from that individual nature of poker, isn't it? All of a sudden, you've got teammates that you're thinking about, you've got points you're thinking about. How have you found it?
I mean, it's really interesting because I've grown up in like team sports and team dynamics, so I know what it's like to be a part of a team. And the last thing you want to do is let your teammates down. And I've definitely been doing that today with a strong 7th and an 8th, so I'm on 0 points so far.
Oh man, and mate, you were short in the bookie odds too. You were definitely on the favoured side.
I know. I've been absolutely dusted today, and it always feels worse because it feels like you're letting your team down, but that's the game.
Just have a look at what might happen here. Both holding a jack, but
yeah,
the bet takes it.
Should be a really interesting heads up. Two very, very experienced and very good players. Ones that we've seen on a lot of streams. I tell you what, there are a few people who are on 0 points. You're right, Pikachu. I know Didier. He hasn't got any either.
And he's very upset too.
I know. It's actually the worst feeling to be on 0, but there's still one more round.
Absolutely.
So.
Look, you're from a team aspect, which is really what this is all about. It'll be fantastic for whoever has the individual award for the most points, which this guy is probably going to be almost impossible to catch now. But it is all about your team. The prize money at the end is. Well, the team prize money is the significant one, so you're just trying to, even that 1 or 2 points that you get for a 6th or 5th finish, it could be the difference.
It could absolutely make all the difference, and that's what's going to make this last round really interesting, having to sweat like the points ICM, right, and seeing if you can ladder up to get more points later for your team. So I know there's going to be a lot of excitement. It's going to get really rowdy on the rails, so very much looking forward to round 3.
So you're representing Queensland. Tell me a little bit about your teammates that you've got there.
So we've got Linsky leading the charge, so he's our captain.
So we'll see him on the table in round 3?
Yeah, so you'll get to see him. Absolute beast, been around a long time. FT'd the WSOP main event, which is pretty sick, and he's been crushing poker live and online for a long time. And I think you saw Corey as well, so our vice captain. He just won the 20K, which is pretty sick.
Oh, wow.
Just at WPT. He just won the 20K,
okay.
And he's been playing a long time. Not as much as he used to, but still very, very good. Also, we've got Gary, Mr. Gary Lynn.
Gary Lynn, yes.
Yep. So, bit of controversy around Gary because he has lived in Adelaide his whole life, but we've sniped him for this one, which is pretty cool.
There's been a little bit of this going on in the room. I saw, because obviously, Blake's lived in a certain, state, or, we've got a couple of New Zealanders who are playing for state teams. So,
yeah,
there's been a little bit of that.
But yeah, Gary's one of the young and upcoming of our generation coming through, and he got a massive score online recently, and he's been doing extremely well. We also... we got Romain as well. Another controversial pick. Our Frenchman, but he's been living in Queensland for quite a while now, and he's been crushing it in all aspects. Had a deep run in the WPT main event just last week, the one that Travis came second in.
Yeah, and he's a high roller champion, APL high roller.
Who is our APL high roller?
APL high roller, yeah.
Romain is?
Yeah.
Yep.
Indigo?
You're a super high roller champion. You go one step better, aren't you?
I think that's a bit of a scam name.
Come on.
They just like putting a bit of mayo on it. But yeah, I'm also on the team, which has been a great experience.
This is Lachlan Crelly we're talking about. So, yes, and obviously you've had incredible success here at APT. I've seen you at the last probably half a dozen events, and you've had a really good time, haven't you?
I seem to run very, very well at APT. It's funny how you have different series you do well at, and APT I've always loved the brand and being around here, and I run very good.
And I'm going to ask you, because I don't know how long this is going to go for, so I don't know how long I'm going to get you in here. Big change this is, not just this event, but we've moved inner city, we've moved into a hotel ballroom, a very different, I mean, we're used to Eaton Hill, and it's great in its own way.
Yep.
How do you find, the change? Because it does feel very different.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a change, a bit of fresh scenery, which is always good. I mean, I guess people naturally don't like change, but I think it's always good to try to progress and, grow and try new things as well. Personally, I live 2 minutes away from Eaton's Hill, so location-wise, maybe Eaton's Hill's better, but also I think being more central is good as well. Being in the city, people will think different things, but I like it. Yeah.
I think our visitors have really enjoyed it. Probably harder for the locals because it is in a city and you're probably driving and you've got to park and all of that sort of stuff. But we've got a hell of a lot of people have come in from interstate, and we'll do next week too. So yeah, look, it's a really interesting change. I've probably been quite involved in the chat with Tony Hasham and the team on that, and it was certainly worth giving it a go. I'll tell you that what I have found. This hotel that we're staying at, the Voco, the staff here have been unbelievably accommodating.
I've only been here, obviously, first day of the series, but what I've seen is they've been super accommodating, and every need they've just been there, which has been fantastic.
And you don't get that everywhere.
No, you don't.
We're still seen, unfortunately, it's good money for the venue, but do we really want poker players here? Do we really? I'm not feeling that at all here.
No, I felt like we've all felt very welcomed here, and it's been a good vibe, and yeah, it makes us excited for the rest of the week.
Yeah, great. You hanging? You doing the whole lot?
Yeah, I'll be here when there's a local series.
The Lions supporters, and I'm sure tomorrow is going to be pretty nuts in all the venues, and probably here too. So. We're putting it on here and on the big screen, so
I think so too.
Yeah, it'll be.
Who do you think will get up, Harvey?
I think momentum is a wonderful thing, and I think the momentum Brisbane has is very hard to get away from. They should have been out 2 weeks ago. They should have been out last week, and sometimes things like poker, hey?
Yeah,
sometimes things just work like that. I do think Sydney's the best team, and I think when everything was on the line, in the middle of the season, they were miles in front of everybody else.
I agree.
But I do think that momentum, and they'll be so hungry after last year and the year before Brisbane that, I'm just feeling it might be a Brisbane flag.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, especially with the last comment about being hungry with last year. I think a bit of finals and grand final experience. They've been there once. They know how to be comfortable on the stage, and they'll be there again, and I think they'll get over the line too.
Mate, we're hearing it in our mic, the effects. I've been talking the whole time about this incredible vibe in the room, and so what's happened obviously now is a lot of players are out, and they're railing their teammate, and so now you're hearing this craziness outside.
And I think it's mainly Sportelli we can hear as well.
All right, this could be over here because we've got Ace 4 against King 4. It's trainer behind and all in. So this could be it for this table anyway.
One in the window. 2.5. That's the wrong pair,
They both get a 4. It doesn't really change anything.
Speed for sweat.
Just needs to fade the king here. Well, you heard the reaction in the room.
Yeah, and that's classic Mel. That is classic Mel.
We're going to get a shot of the rail. There you are. You were out there for that one.
Yeah, I was.
So you're very good. You're very good. He didn't even give me you didn't even give me a sign that was going to happen. Of course, we're broadcasting this a half an hour behind, and I was going to say, we don't know what goes on out there. Well, I certainly don't, because I don't go out. But nice poker face, Mr. Crowley. You didn't.
Yeah, I can't give away what's actually going to be going on. Bit of a wig out for the people at home, hearing me in here and seeing me out there. But
Yeah, well, it happened to Tony before too, but it was certainly not. We're not getting reports of anything, and certainly no one in here. So the way this works actually is we don't see any of this live. So we don't see any of the whole cards live. So we get the broadcast, but the graphics aren't appearing.
Yep.
So we actually don't know what players are holding in real time, and once we come in here, we're actually commentating this a half an hour behind. We're not commentating it live. Well, obviously you're out there, so we're not commentating it live.
Yeah.
But that was. How about that? I'll tell you what. If this final table turns around on that, that'll be something.
So Liam's asking me what Gary is like at table tennis. So Gary's an interesting fella. So he thinks he's good at everything, and he definitely isn't. He was garbage at 10-pin bowling, and last night we were playing for a bit of money in table tennis, and Gary looks like a guy who's extremely good. He's got the grip, that professional grip, and he bounces the ball, and he gives you really ranked tendencies, but he's absolutely garbage. And me and Armon, we took him for piles.
Excellent.
Let's just say we took him for a couple of buy-ins in some events.
Great. There you are again. Well, at least we get to see what you look like, those of us who don't know you. So we can see there that that outside table was still going at that stage. You're not going to tell us what happens there, but that's heads up.
No, that's heads up between Raggers and Romain.
We're three-handed on that table there. There's Didier doing a bit of work, a bit of camera work for us. And we're back onto our final table here. Feature table, I should say. Everyone's having a look at what's going on in the room. Because as I mentioned, Lockie, the points on the outside table are just as valuable. We're used to seeing this as a final table, but there's just as many points on each outside table. So winner gets 15 points on each table, that's a massive boost. The next best, I think, is 8. I think you get 8 for second.
I think it goes 10, so 15, 10 and a half, and then 7, and then I think it's 4, 2, 1.
That's right.
And then 2 zeros.
So we've got in the chat there too. Romain did win his first table as well, I think. So if he's still on that outside table, all right. So we maybe don't have a clear winner or favourite at the moment. So
I think a couple of people have done well. Definitely Travis and Romain, but you never know coming into the final one if those two brick get a 0 and someone else gets a 15. It's all up for grabs for that individual award.
Yeah, well, I know that the Victorians were coming second after round 1, and I don't think they've had a very good round 2, so they've probably dropped back a little.
So they've still got Raggers, who's heads up, so Sean Ragazzini, and then they've still got Martinelli.
Oh, is Martinelli still
three-handed,
Okay,
I think, yeah.
All right. So I didn't realise that. I thought they still only had one player. So, okay. This will be a really interesting leaderboard then after round 2.
Yeah, it looks like WA are definitely leading the way, but it's going to be pretty tight for second, because I know South Australia had a really good second round as well.
Okay.
So it's all up for grabs.
All right, looks like we're having a little break here. I'm going to let you go, have your lunch or dinner or whatever time we are. Lockie Crilly hopefully won't join us for round 3. He'll be playing right to the end, but thanks for coming in.
Jeez, gosh, I hope not. Not the 000.
Thanks, mate.
Pleasure. Thank you.